Okay, good morning. Welcome to our last case discussion. Because in the second half, we're going to transition from a case-based to presenting defense in front. So the outline of our discussion is going to be essentially the assignment that I had you solve, which means we're going to start with a business model canvas, value chain analysis. We're going to talk about ratios, and if we have time, we're going to talk about the top issues of the company. So, this is number one. This is who wants to?
For key partners are fast food chains like McDonald's and KFC.
Okay, so fast food chains like McDonald's and KFC. Okay.
IT partners, raw material suppliers.
Raw materials. Anyone else? 1, 2, 3.
Key activity-based research, product development, and product innovation.
So just say R&D and product. Okay, and who's here?
Financiers. Or key partners, third-party logistics.
So third-party logistics providers. Okay, and then there was a third here.
Key resources.
Name these.
Fortuna. Raw materials and packaging.
Raw. Is that a key resource?
Ingredients.
Yeah. When we say key resource, it's something that the company owns, which is meaning a physical asset, right? Or intellectual asset, or intangible asset. But I will not put raw materials.
I think I'll change that to their woven.
You will change that.
So their woven proteins.
Okay, you will. Technology. Did I see hands here? Yes?
Plaza, sir. For cost structure, manufacturing and supply chain costs.
Can you be more specific? Like, we're going to say cost of goods sold. Is 1%.
Wait, sir. That's me.
This is something you can get. You can give it from your husband.
In 2022, it was 442,620.
Which is 1% of it.
105.67.
That's good. That's very bad. 1, 2.
Taylor, sir, for key resources, patented process of their patented process of combining proteins from plant.
It's basically open protein.
Another one, sir, is our production facility.
Okay. You have a backup. Can you elaborate? Where are these facilities?
These facilities are in Shanghai and Manhattan.
That's not a production, that's an innovation center.
Shanghai, Katong.
You don't need to be specific. Pennsylvania, right? And then the last one is the new house on the third. Netherlands. You first.
Yeah. So for key partners, retail chains like Walmart.
So retail chains like Walmart and I saw you first.
Well, yan ang sir for customer segments, health conscious consumers such as flexitarians, vegetarians, and vegan.
Did it really say flexitarian? So before flexitarian, where did you see that? I don't remember that word. I'm not saying that it's not there, but I did not remember seeing it.
More on the term that reduce their
Sure. Did the case actually use that? Or did you get AI maybe? So, how would you characterize that? Meat eaters who want to eat less meat. Okay. Three of you.
Iban is killer resources, human resources, like scientists, engineers, and culinary solutions.
Who's better? Yes.
For key partners,
Maybe.
spoiler. For key partners, they're co-manufacturing partners in like different parts of the world.
Okay. Yes. One and then.
For goodness sake, cost structure, research and development, which is 14.86% of their net revenue.
So R&D is 14.46%.
86.
14.86%. Okay, and then
For Avrandos, for key partners, brand ambassadors, and celebrities.
okay.
Key resources,
Anyone else? Yes.
Iban user, value prop, health benefits, no GMOs and cholesterol, and lower saturated.
No GMO, cholesterol. Lower saturated. Yes.
For Avrandos or distribution channels, food service, like dine-in restaurant and fast food channel.
Food service. Okay.
Boilers. For channels, there Beyond Meat's website and their social media platform.
They don't sell through the social media platform. Social media platform is the relationship. But do they have B2C?
E-commerce.
E-commerce. So they do have e-commerce, right? And why don't we just put here the relationships? Social media. Yes?
Iban is value prop, sustainable and eco-friendly sources with lower environmental.
What was that?
Sustainable and eco-friendly protein source
Eco.
in
Yes, 1, 2.
develops our customer relationships. Collaboration with key partners in creating dishes or in a restaurant for using Beyond Meat products.
What's on the keyboard?
But their customers are also the food service distributor.
So we like delivery. So that's more like product testing.
I'm testing for dishes using their descriptions.
So
For Galdiano, for revenue streams, the retail, they're mounting to 295,651,000.
so retail sales is
For both United States and Brunswick, 295,650.
295
650.
million, right? So that's mainly what percentage of sales.
Seventy point 73%.
Yes, 70 point.
73%.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Revenue sir, distribution channels, retail channels.
Okay. Retailers. Okay, Tyler, go ahead.
Spoilers for yeah. Quality control services.
Yeah, quality control was 3. I forgot. Bad memory. I don't even remember names.
Yeah, that's so for the key resources and innovation center.
Key resources, they have to. Okay.
And also for key activities, in-house testing process of PNU that
In the investing process.
we need to test the
Quality control.
key activities there
Right, yes.
marketing and sales.
Marketing. Yeah, right.
Ganyan for revenue streams, it would service their amounting to 123 million, which is 29.40%. 30%.
Who else? Yes, Moran.
And for key activities are as of manufacturing.
One.
For plaza, for key resources, digital infrastructure
Can you
from their e-commerce websites.
not, I mean, that's just a normal website. They don't have something special. Because usually when you put under key resources, the operative word is key, meaning super important. Right? There was someone here.
Revenue stream. For customer segment, this is environmentally aware consumers.
So environmentally conscious consumers. Anyone else? Yes.
For their cost structures, for two national, they also have selling, general and administrative expenses, which is 57.17%.
Yes.
Revenue center. For customer relationship, company website that provides information about purchase points, additional marketing.
Anyone wants to add any distribution channels or value propositions? Yes.
Evaluator for value prop. Plant-based meat alternatives with a taste and texture similar to beef.
Guys, for relationship, for tuna, food trucks are providing products. For distribution, channels or e-commerce. Ano?
Yes, already. You're actually missing one key part.
Food service district.
No, it's already there. Fast food chain.
Partners and revenue packaging.
Is that key part? Key partners are the ones that I have an agreement.
For customer relationships or sales discounts and discounts.
Is that customer relationship? I will not put it here. That's more on the value chain, sales and marketing. Well, I think generally that's all we have. That's all you can think of. So yes, not balance. Name.
That was the tries and for key partners. The academic institutions,
Okay. Such as.
the University of Surrey's Bioengineering Science Department.
So yes, initially they did partner with the university. Okay, so what do I have here as my partner? First, I have the fast food chain, which is covered. I have my grocery stores, which is covered, retail chain, co-manufacturers, right, which is covered. I have the suppliers of ingredients, because there are some ingredients that are specialized, such as the proteins. And then I have the marketing and the brand ambassadors, which is also covered. And the one that was not covered is Pepsi. Do you remember reading about PepsiCo? They have a joint venture to sell the beef jerky, right? Now, under activities, I put here R&D and product innovation, which is, of course, word for word what you guys said. And then strategic sourcing, which is you need to actually find partners to help you buy the specialized ingredients, right? The case tells us that you have the providers of plant protein, and you also have special flavors that is exclusive only to Beyond Meat. And then we have, of course, the manufacture and production of the movement protein, and you have the marketing and branding. Now, under key resources, you have here the woven protein technology, which is their proprietary asset. And then we have the production facilities, which is in Minnesota, Missouri, Pennsylvania, the Netherlands, China. And you also have, of course, the Innovation Center, Manhattan, something. Also, I have here the brand recognition, because this company has the balls to put itself in the meat section. You know why it takes balls? Because traditionally, meat is cheaper than paid meat. And you would normally put your product together with the other expensive veggie options. But now you are putting yourself in the same section as your substitute. And your substitute is cheaper. And people are more familiar with your substitutes, right? Threat of substitute in this industry very high. I did not ask you to do 5 courses, but if we did a 5 courses, threat of substitute is super. Because your substitute is meat. All right. Now, under value proposition, we have here the health benefits, right? And we have woven protein, which tastes like meat, looks like meat, tastes like meat, but it's not meat. And then we have the health benefits: no GMO, cholesterol, lower saturated fats. We have also, which you did not actually mention here, convenience, meaning it's widely available. They have 190,000 plus distribution points. They also have a variety and their product innovation. And finally, they have the brand credibility because they partner with the fast food chains. So that means that the customer will see, oh, Beyond Meat partners with McDonald's. That means they're legit, right? They're not fly-by-night operation. They're legitimate supplier of substituted meat products. As for customer relationships, we have here your social media, yes, which is how they reach their customers. We have the product testing in limited markets. They have their brand ambassadors as well. And actually, I put here fast food partners because that's how you also reach your customers through the fast food. As for distribution channels, we have the food service companies, e-commerce and retail, which is essentially the three revenue streams of this company. But you're forgetting one. This company also supplies to hotels. If you remember reading about that, hotels, airports, and hospitals. But they don't sell direct. They have a third-party distributor like Cisco. So that Cisco here will be a distribution channel, can also be a key partner. Now, under customer segments, I put here health-conscious customers, which is number one, and then number two would be the meat reducers, those who want to eat less meat, which we term as vegetarian. And then we have, of course, you're targeting the vegetarians and the vegans. You're also targeting those who are environmentally conscious. And the last target is, of course, those who eat fast. Cost structure, you have it all here. The cost of goods sold is very high. This is not good. SG&A is also very high. This is not good. And then R&D is 15%. It's also very high. It's normally not a problem if your R&D is generating sales. But is it generating sales? Like in when did their R&D go up? 2021, right? But did their sales go up after 2021? No. So this is a problem. And then revenue stream, I actually have three. You covered the first two, which is retail sales and food service. The last one is, of course, the joint venture with PepsiCo, where they're selling jerky. But we don't have any data, so we cannot really tell. Now let's move on to the next topic, which is your value chain analysis. So one thing to note is that it might be very difficult for us to distinguish, is this inbound logistics or is this procurement? Now, when would you say it's procurement? If you're trying to negotiate a contract, you're looking for suppliers, right? You're looking to buy. That is under procurement. But after you bought the product, it still has to reach you, right? So the supplier has to send it to you. That is inbound logistics. That will also include you putting it in your warehouse, storing it, and then once you bring that to your factory to actually manufacture it, that becomes operations. And then once you are done, you're going to deliver that to where the customers can buy. So that delivery is considered outbound logistics. And then the actual place where the customers buy is your marketing and sales. Okay? So with that in mind, who wants to start? Yes, Claudia.
Marketing and sales, which is collaboration with restaurants and fast food chains for co-branded menu.
Okay, so we have collaboration with restaurants, fast food chains. One, two,
Everyone sir, for marketing and sales, primarily over sales, discounts, and promotion.
sales, discounts, and promotions, but this is not for all customers. This is only for the customers. Yes, overall.
For procurements or procurement of raw materials for beyond meat product, we have about 20 ingredients and 22 for beyond meat product.
So they have around 20 ingredients, right? And then three.
Binolos for operations, self-manufacturing of their woven robe.
Self-manufacture, yes. What else? Yes.
For today's
Babies.
boilers, products complained in stores and ingredients.
So products are made in stores, right?
For operations, R&D and product innovation.
R&D and product innovation belongs to another category, which is technology development. Okay, so let's put it here.
Binolos server outbound logistics, 190,000 distribution points among groceries, food service, and restaurants.
Yes,
Inbound logistics.
inbound logistics.
Inventory management.
What type of inventory? It's more or less the market. Anyone else?
Those are for outbound logistics, e-commerce.
Sorry, outbound logistics.
We're going to try Binolos after sales. Adjustments on product after product tests in dining restaurants.
Would that be after sales? Or you're doing test marketing, right? It's part of your development. So probably there are still three categories which are going.
Okay, after sales. Utilizing their social media platform for
social media. Yes.
Human resource management, hiring additional numbers of against sales and marketing.
Where? Can you give me the date?
Distribution study.
Distribution strategy. When did they hire them? Very large numbers of scales. All right.
Stimulus for after sales. The provision of instructions for regarding the storage of protein.
So they provide instruction on storing
Storage.
and even preparing. Yes, you want to raise test
I just want to mention for human resource management, it's the like highly tiered skilled workforce, including the 100 scientists.
Right, 170 scientists and ladies. Yes,
For operations,
ladies.
they utilize Six Sigma quality control process to allow them to further improve, optimize, and stabilize the process control.
So they use Six Sigma. What's the specific term for that? DMAs.
Yeah.
Fun.
Revenue sir for marketing and sales. Recruiting influencers and brand.
So use research. And then plus two.
I try for the firm infrastructure, they focus on a lean value stream approach, which aimed at increasing cross-functional collaboration, transparency, and reducing.
So yeah, your strategy belongs to you.
Yeah, that's it. So for operation, the production process includes dry blending, extrusion, cutting, breathing, and manufacturing.
That would probably be under some. Yes, or
For field infrastructure, sir, Galiano, they are headquartered in El Segundo, California, and they also have financial strategy that includes raising capital through IPO, which is in BUI.
the IPO thing would not be for infrastructure, but yes, the headquarters is. Anyone else? Around the
For procurement, sir, ensuring the quality of ingredients by requiring the suppliers to submit a certificate of analysis.
Okay.
Revenue sir. Outbound logistics. Regarding their packaging, requirement published by the speakers.
Use. Yes, name.
Yeah, that's it. So for procurement, the P15 is purchased from a single supplier that has a multi-year agreement.
I think we can have more to say about
In operations, that they implement lean value production.
lean value stream is infrastructure because that's part of the strategy, right?
How about inventory?
Inventory management. Yes. Yes.
Similar sir for operations. They exclusively develop their flavors.
They exclusively.
Develop their flavors.
That's not very good because operations is converting to output. So me making new product was under technology development. So we can put that here.
Exclusively develop flavors.
So they partner with companies that have exclusive development.
as you know.
Right? Yes.
Operations, sir. Production of finished products.
We can just say co-manufacturing. Now, remember what the value chain does is it tells you where the costs, but what are the important activities, and then where are the costs. So in this case, where would you can name some costs. Like you can talk to us about the R&D cost. Yes.
For marketing and sales, environmental for marketing and sales. Public relations activities.
That's already covered in social media as well as the technology. Okay, I think that's all you have. So let me summarize what other firm infrastructure have here the headquarters in El Segundo, California, with operations in North America, Asia, and Europe. I also have the Q4 2022 strategy. They changed their strategy in quarter 4 to focus on cash flow because they need cash flow to reduce their costs because their costs are very high and to have sustainable revenue growth because the revenues are not, in fact, growing sustainably. Under HR management, although they are hiring large numbers of sales and marketing staff at the end of 2022, they have 170 skilled workers, yes, but in fact, the case tells us that starting in the fourth quarter, they implementing workplace reductions to reduce operating costs. For technology development, the number one thing I have here is that they have a Manhattan Beach Innovation Center that develops custom ingredients, right? And it has 5 laboratories, 1 pilot plant, and a test kitchen. I actually put the scientists here under technology development instead of human resource management. And I also mentioned that they spent $62.3 million on research and development. So under procurement, they have to source plant-based proteins at 20 different suppliers. And then they also have proprietary flavor suppliers, and they do have a multi-year agreement, which already ended. Right? And one thing that is not mentioned is that to cut costs, they actually require the suppliers to bid. Right? So that's actually part of the procurement activities where you use competitive bidding for a procurement of ingredients. Now, for inbound logistics, you have your inventory management, but I also have they use the third-party transport to get the material to their warehouse, and then from the warehouse they can also ship that to their co-manufacturers because they do the sourcing and then they ship it to the manufacturing facilities. Now, other operations we have, of course, I put here. They have facilities in Columbia, Missouri, and Pennsylvania for their woven proteins. And they also have regional production facilities in the Netherlands and China, and they have strict quality control using the NAIC. Now, under outbound logistics, you have covered the fact that they have 190,000 distribution points. I also mentioned here that they have third-party logistics for shipping and cold storage because their products are perishable. So you need refrigerated trucks. And then third is that they have e-commerce sales in which they offer occasional product bundles and limited discounts. And other marketing and sales, they have strategic partnerships with restaurants and fast food chains. One thing not mentioned is that they specifically want the product to be placed in the meat section, not in the vegetarian section. And then they have collaborations with social media brand ambassadors and celebrity endorsers such as Leonardo DiCaprio. And they also have frequent discounts and promotions and buy one, take one deals for their customers by e-commerce. And finally, for after-sales service, they do provide cooking instructions and storage guidelines for their retail partners. And then they also use the restaurant partners to demonstrate demo products and then refine it based on consumer. Okay? So, if I were to ask you, are all of these activities equally important, or are some of them very important?
Yes.
Yes to what? All are important, or there are some which is much more important? Some. Okay, so which are these? Marketing and sales is very important. Technology very important. Operation, because we need the quality. Do you think also the procurement is very important?
Yes.
Yes, because you're using specialty ingredients. So in fact, you have 4 key activities, right? Which is technology development, your procurement, your manufacturing operations, and then your marketing. Does that look familiar to this one? The key activities. That's it. So, business model is a way to summarize internal analysis. So, your value chain analysis can be summarized here, right? Your financial analysis can also be summarized, but not all of it, because we're only looking at the cost and revenue stream. We're not looking at the ratios. But you can, in fact, do some analysis here. So before we proceed and before I forget, I'm going to award you $3. First, Team F, $9. Team G, 7. And then Team H. So before we proceed, let me ask you, how many of you have actually eaten plant-based burger? You have? Okay. What did you eat?
For me, it's very subjective and it didn't notice any difference. Maybe it's
What specifically did you?
Burger King that dish.
Okay, Burger King. And you see no difference with the regular. We'll see. Because I have here some products that I budgeted this, I bought 20. Well, meaning you would share, 2 people would share 1, but we're not 20 here, so some people can have extras. But you're going to negotiate among yourselves. All right. Bon appetit.
Ano, Whopper Jun? I say runny.
Dili na.
It's not much because how much we have to share.
Bilhin ng plastics. Bilhin ng plastic.
Kita ka pro ng pala. O, harap. Galing ko. Mapayos ka. Kumain ka.
Okay, so you have 10 minutes. Taste it and tell me your preference. So one thing to consider is that if you're comparing that against chicken joy, there will be a difference because chicken joy is sweet. Not chicken joy, sorry. Regular yum. Jollibee's regular yum is sweet, especially formulated for Filipino taste. So if you need to compare that to something, you need to compare it against pure beef, which is kind of like McDonald's. Not the burger McDonald's, but the normal McDonald's. Okay, I think most of you are done. What do you think?
Good.
Does it taste like a real burger? Or does it taste bad?
Take that.
Why would you say it's bad?
Sir, there's no strong aftertaste like the meat, and the smell also is not that strong.
Okay, but some people would say it doesn't smell like meat. That's your preference, sure. Anyone, any other thoughts? However, would you pay extra money for this?
No.
It's healthy option, right? Why not?
YOLO.
YOLO.
We're gonna die anyway.
Yeah, but maybe you can extend your life by 2 weeks, you know? It is a bit more expensive, no, not a bit. It is more expensive, which is why you're seeing the issue with the financials, right? But do you agree that it's a healthy one? We'll see about that. So I have here a summary of the nutrition information. So this is actually in the exhibit. There's an exhibit here, right? And then there's another exhibit here. I don't know why they didn't just put it side by side, but it is what it is. So, based on this exhibit, would you say that there are much less calories in the burger meat substitute? Much less.
No.
No. Right? No. You've got 290, which is a maximum, versus 260, 240, 270. This one is what? 170, 190. So, less calories? Answer is no. How about less fat? Less fat. Are you sure?
No. Okay.
This one has less fat. This one has less fat. So there are some burgers that are even less fattening than these burgers, right? You're looking at real meat here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fake one here. So can you conclude that this one here has less fat than this one? No. However, can you say that they have less saturated fat? Not necessarily. What you just ate is actually impossible. Not yummy, but impossible. So that's 40% of the fat you're allowed to eat today. Well, no, not 40%, because you ate half a burger. So that's 1/5. Now, transubstantiated fat that doesn't have any of them. Now, how about cholesterol? It's better, right? Because it has no cholesterol. How about the salt?
Higher.
Correct. So you eat one of these, that's already 1/5 of the salt that you eat. So tell me what happens if you eat too much UTI. UTI is one. What else? The second one is high blood. Hypertension. So they have carbs, right? They have fiber, which is good, but they also have sugar. Well, not a lot, but they have sugar. They also have protein, right? Quite a bit of protein. They have some additional vitamins, so meaning you guys got vitamin B6 and B12, and you got a lot of calcium and potassium and iron. So, based on this, can you now tell me, without a doubt, that this is healthy option?
No.
Why not? Because of the salt, right? Salt is needed as a preservative. But why are you so surprised? Filipino diet is very salty.
Yeah.
Sweet and salty. Because the intention is that you're going to eat that with a lot of rice. So you need your viand to be so flavorful that you can just buy a viand and 2 cups of rice, right? And that will fill you up. So, in other words, this label shows us that actually one of your value propositions, which is healthy option, may not be necessarily as healthy as you think. Remember what you said. You told me specifically. You told me specifically here that Rebanio said no GMO, no cholesterol, lower saturated content. That is in fact correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. But left unsaid is it has more calories and it has more salt. So this is not incorrect, but it is also so you should be careful, when you look at it. Well, we have a little bit of time for the financial analysis. So what I want to do is I'm just going to ask one person for each of the areas. Just summarize what you conclude about the financial analysis for each of the areas: liquidity, solvency, profitability, operating activity, and the other ratios. So, yeah, summarize.
For profitability, sir, Beyond Meat has an increasing cost.
So let's summarize, not just about, but taking all of the ratios as a
So, since there's significant losses, so Beyond Meat has a poor profitability.
poor profitability. Is it improving?
No, sir. It's deteriorating.
It's deteriorating. So it's already bad, and it's getting worse.
Yes.
All right. Yes.
Ivan, sir, for rating. Beyond Meat shows deteriorating inventory efficiency.
So deteriorating efficiency, right? Not just in inventory, but even in the asset, as well as the fixed. Also getting worse. How about the liquidity and solvency?
Latino loss for liquidity, the company is highly liquid. And for they also have very high liabilities ratio, which indicates in solvency.
So in other words, they are liquid, but they are insolvent. Which can happen to you. You have money to pay for the short term, but not for the long term. The opposite can also happen. You are solvent but not liquid. You have a lot of money tied up in long-term investments, so you can actually pay long-term debts, but you cannot immediately pay the short-term debt, which means you still must declare bankruptcy. Okay, so does it make sense for us to actually analyze the operation, the bond next? Consider that they have a big net loss, right? And also, they have negative equity. So negative divided by negative equals positive. Is that meaningful? So in cases like this, where your company has losses as well as negative equity, a lot of your ratios become unusable. You cannot use ROE, right? You can use ROA because there's no such thing as negative asset. But equity can become negative. That means that from the very start, the company already loses money, meaning the shareholders, the owners actually lose their capital because the company is operating so poorly, right? So I'll show you my spreadsheet, which is here. So when I get the case, I actually like to do analysis. So this one is one of the exhibits where you have the quarterly sales, and then you also have the against your distribution points. So actually, did the quarterly sales increase a lot after 2020? There is an increase here, right? Here in 2019. But after that, it's not necessarily declining, but it's not increasing, right? It's slowing down. And you can see that in the ratios here. So when I compute, this one here is a percentage of the total. And then this one here is the year-on-year change. So 2019 to 20, 20 to 21, you can see it. There's a very fast growth here, but it's already slowing here. And then 2020 to 2023 is really bad. And you can also see I compute a 3-year CAGR and also compute a 2-year CAGR to get a shorter term. And you can see that the more recent CAGR is usually low, right? For the first quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter. Which means that we are slowing down in our growth from 12% overall to 1.5%. But the bulk of our analysis is actually in the. So if you want a copy of this, you can get this from the URL you see over there. Then you just do file, then make a copy, and then it belongs to you. So what I usually do is I plot all of the data in exhibits. I have here the US detailed service, international detailed service. I get the percentage, I also get the compound annual growth rate, and I place down my own evaluation. This is only for personal. And then here is the income statement. If you notice, the case itself omits SG&A for 2022. Right? It doesn't mean that there's no SG&A. It just means that the placeholder made a mistake. But we can actually calculate it by looking at the actual total operating expense and then subtracting it from the sum, which tells me that the SG&A is 239,000. So again, I divide everything here by sale. This is called vertical analysis, if you remember from your page classes. If you are in finance, I hope you do remember. And then here I do the year change as well as the compound annual. So does this look good? Your revenue is not growing that much. CAGR is what? 1.5% is very flat for the past 2 years. And your cost of goods sold is growing probably. Now, you might wonder, why don't they raise prices?
Yeah.
You cannot raise the price because you are an expensive substitute. So inflation is very bad for you. And these people cannot raise the price because if they do that, who's going to buy BOP? I mean, you guys are not going to buy it. So imagine if they raise the price even more. So they're going to have even more people not buying the BOP. So that's why they have negative gross margin, which is really bad. We cannot even compute the CAGR because it became negative from a positive. Now, how about the other costs? The other costs are growing very fast. Your R&D is growing at 40%, while your sales is only growing at 1.5%. Is that sustainable? No. So when you do a financial analysis, this is what you look at, right? You look at, I don't even need to look at the ratios immediately. I just look at the year-on-year change first to get an idea. And then restructuring expenses, it's actually growing fast, although this is not a big sum. But still, you need to control your costs. So overall, your total OPEX is growing up about 40%. So it's very high. It's currently at 76.2% of sales, which means that your operating loss is huge. This tells us that for every $1 that you sell, you lose 81 centavos. Okay, so that's really bad. In fact, for 2022, for every dollar that they sell, they lost 87 cents. And their net loss per share has a positive CAGR. Is that good? That your loss has a positive CAGR. It's growing. The loss is growing, which is bad. Then we look at the balance sheet data. Now, we don't have the full balance sheet data, but when you guys do your research, you do have access to the full balance sheet data. So you are able to calculate some more things that we can here. Now, we can only calculate inventory turnover because we're not given accounts receivable or accounts payable. So we cannot do cash conversion inside. But you guys can. By the way, if you notice, when I calculate the ratios here, ignore averaging. The reason why I ignore averaging is because I have limited data. It's a case. But normally, what is correct is to do average. So let me emphasize, the correct way is average. But for case and for exam purpose, no need. Because we want to have as much data points as we can. Once you take the average, you lose 1 year. So what does this tell us? This tells us that my cash, I'm comfortably liquid, I have a lot of cash. But that is because of here, the increase in long-term liability. What is this? Case does not tell us, but this is actually bonds. They issue $1 billion. And now what's happening to their cash? You got 1 billion, but you only had 733,000 left. Then now you only have 309 million. Is that good? So you're liquid, sure. You look liquid, but is that sustainable? No. Without modification. I have not even done ratios yet, right? But we can see the picture here. So here is the ratios that I think we can compute: the current ratio, the cash ratio, and the working capital, which look very nice because you have some cash, but again, you have to consider your solvency, which is not so good. By the way, I'm not sure if you're familiar with spark lines. You went through data science, so I'm hoping you know what they are. No, you don't know what spark lines are. In Google Sheet, it's a formula. If you copy the spreadsheet, you can see how to do a spark line. But in Excel, it's not a formula. So in Excel, for example, I have 100, 200, 300, 200, 100, something like that, right? So if I want to make a spark line out of this, I just insert, and then under here, I insert a line, for example, and then I select this as my range. And there, I get instant spark line without needing the chart. this is one of the ways that you can summarize data. So, for example, I'm going to make random a 5 rows, 10 columns. The minimum is 10, the maximum is 100, 1,000, 100. I can't find the box. Okay, something happened to my mouse cursor. Okay, so this is how smart minds work. And then you can even add things like I want to highlight the highest point to those markers, change the color. Another way of visualizing this is actually through conditional formatting. You use conditional formatting, use a color scale. Let's say green is high, red is something like this. So you can see from a distance, right? Which is helpful when you're dealing with large data. So hopefully these are things that you have explored in Excel when you were taught about data science. Because they should be. Like, how do you graph this? What's the best way to chart this? Pro tip, do not use pie charts. Because if I use a pie chart, it's going to look like something like how the heck would be. Even if you were to add something. So anyway, there are some visualization tools that I use and which you can use when you're doing analysis. You can do this type of spark line. You can also do this type of spark line. I don't know what you call it. But this time it's going from the. This one is going from top to bottom. So again, this is a way of doing things without needing to make charts, because normally you would be doing this, you would be selecting this, and then I will insert my chart like this, right? And then I'm going to copy like that, then I can just something like that, and then so just to sum up, liquidity looks fine, but actually it's not. Right? Solvency looks poor, the liabilities ratio is really bad, and then profitability never mind, because the cost percentage is going through the roof, and then the gross margins are all negative and increasing. Now, how do we somehow become positive here? Because you're negative equity. So, how do you interpret this? The answer is you cannot, because it's not paid. No interpretation. Do not even try. And then activity ratios, we can see that the inventory turnover is from 2.4 to 1.9, not good. From 150 days to 194 days, again, very bad. You're dealing with consumables. And then this one is like 200 days to sell, right? Think about it. And fixed asset turnover is from 6, now it's from 1.6, meaning your new capex is not really productive. And your asset turnover is also not productive, it's half as productive. And your R&D is actually increasing as a percentage of sales, while your sales is not increasing, which is, again, not good. So can I do a DuPont? The answer is no, because my ROE is meaningless. ROE is meaningless, the leverage is meaningless because negative equity. Therefore, the only thing I can say is I can do a two-factor, I look at the profitability and efficiency, and I say this sucks. Right? So this is an interesting issue where this is a company, this is a market leader, but it's very easy to make recommendations. Because you know status quo is not. It's not feasible. You will go back. So what is the top management issue? I would just say, we don't have time. Probably the biggest issue is your unsustainable cost structure and your cash burn. You know the cash is going up, but now it's going down. How do you arrest the decline in your sales? Should you continue to sell below cost of goods sold? Even if you know you cannot sell above it because the customers won't buy it. Can you innovate your way out of it, right? That's something to worry about. Are you in a dying industry? I think so. So, what happened to Beyond Meat? In 2024, they reported revenue of 326 million. That's actually much less than 2022. They achieved a gross margin, however, finally, is higher than cost of goods sold of 41 million. Which is 12.8%. Not fantastic, but better than negative 5%. Operating margin, of course, is still negative, meaning for every dollar that they earn, they lose 48 cents. And then the net loss is still big, $2.43 per share. It's better than 2022 and 2023, but it is still that. The current financial target is they want to achieve a zero EBITDA. What is EBITDA? Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Is that an achievement to have a zero EBITDA? No, you cannot ignore your depreciation because you would need to replace your fixed assets, right? So you can't even break even despite taking away depreciation and amortization. That tells you how bad the business is. So what will it do? It will suspend Chinese operations, meaning all the things that we said, they have facilities in Beijing, Shanghai, no more, right? And it will continue to downsize. Now, what's the main issue? The main issue is that the case does not mention it, but actually the liabilities that's there is actually $1 billion convertible bonds that is due in March 2027. Questions: do you have the cash flow to support repayment? How do you get the cash? How do you get if you're the bondholder, will you convert? No. So you will demand repayment. This company obviously cannot repay. Where do you suggest the company will get one? This is debt. This is already debt. Would you be able to find someone to finance you even more? So this is a very interesting company to study. If you want to make recommendations, it cannot repay, and everyone knows. The bonds are currently selling at a discount of 8 years. Meaning, let's say the bond says I can collect $1, but you can actually buy it for 17 cents. The market. That's how market thinks. It's really going to go back. So if nothing happens, then this company will go bankrupt in March 2026. What will happen is that the bondholder will become the new stockholder. Because that's what happens in the bankruptcy. The debt becomes the owner, and the owner gets wiped. Right? You lose your entire debt. That's how finance works. So Beyond Meat stock closed on March 11 at $3.11, significantly below the $25 IPO price and way below the highest, which is around $287 in 2019. So again, this is a company with a lot of issues. So let me finalize something. So, I am awarding 3 UP bucks. What's UP bucks? 2 UP bucks to Minolos. 2 UP bucks to Fortuna. 2 UP bucks to Galliano. 2 UP bucks to Taylor. 1 UP bucks to Plaza. And finally, 3 UP bucks to Rivani. Thank you, and I think the next time I'll see you will be next Monday, which is the midterm exam. Midterm exam is going to be a case. I'm going to give the case to you next Monday. All right? But you're going to see the question on the day of the midterm. So you're going to have 1 week to prepare whatever you want to prepare. It's going to be open books, open notes, open lab. But please, no internet and no AI. But you think you can anticipate what kind of could be. It will be similar. But I do not recommend that you work together 5% analysis because what happens is everyone will have a payment. So you can collaborate. Thank you, and I'll see you next month.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, this one.